Alright guys, I'm just going to give you a quick example here. This is SK versus Misfits. It's like 1 or 2 seasons ago in EPL. SK's up a decent amount starting their T side. And really here, all we're doing is focusing on their first round to see what they do. They basically start off in like a default format in order to punish any people that might make an aggressive peek anywhere. That's all they're really doing. Cold Zare is watching the A-ramp push. Fur is watching the underpass push. He's going to clear it out as well. And Phelps is just upper B. All this is doing, just holding pushes and waiting to punish anyone if they happen to play aggressive. So they either know Twist and Misfits like to pop flash and PK ramp, or they don't, and it kind of just happened and Fallen, called it on the fly and they cleared out A ramp before they did anything. So overall, like, what's really happening here, what matters is the presence, like what Misfits knows. So Misfits now is going to know that SK sent 2 outside A ramp on a default, like a round that was fairly much a default. Cold throws a flash towards min, and I'm not sure if it worked, but really that flash is just to hold players in their position. Even if Sean Gears doesn't know if someone's back behind here, it looks like the flash didn't work, but that's why he threw that flash, is just to hold players in their spots. So B is just holding the site. And remember, whenever there's 2 smokes, Fur gets into a great spot, and basically the round's over with. So Jam goes a little ham during this round, and gets some good frags. Yeah, so it comes down to 1v1. So what you need to remember there is basically they showed A presence, and Misfits knows about it. They threw 2 smokes at B, and they flew a flash top mid. So that's what you need to remember from your first round. Like, what did you show them, and how are you gonna make decisions based off what they know that you've ran against them with success. So this next round here doesn't matter. SK just ends up defaulting mid, if I remember correctly, and they all get singled off and picked off, and they lose the round. So it goes into a force buy here for SK, and now some people will say this is more spur of the moment decision making, like I've stated in the article. I don't consider it that. I consider it's a good example because there's a clear connection between first and third round decision making, and it shows what I'm trying to emphasize in my article about in-game leading theory when you don't have a lot of information on your opponent, and even if you do, on how to incorporate it into what's most important, and that's what is occurring in the match and what Misfits in this case knows, like what's worked against Misfits so far. So remember the first round. SK's gonna force buy up. They're gonna buy 3 smokes and 3 flashes, if I remember correctly. And they're gonna go into a little bit of a default setup than the first round. Again, they're just looking to punish anyone that pushes. So he's taking the safest route and hauls to punish anyone that might play aggressive. This is kind of risky. You can't. Overall, it's not really risky because it's an anti-eco. They probably, not an anti-eco, it's still forced buy, and they probably figure that Misfits isn't going to play too aggressive. But again, it's not really the point. It's the point on what SK is doing. And overall, their first round is not too much different from their third round. 3 smokes, 2 3 flashes, when they used 2 smokes on their first pistol round. And on their first pistol round, they kind of showed A presence by clearing out A ramp and catching someone off guard. They don't really show it here, probably through the assumption that playing passive on A, so it's not really an important factor. The important factor is where did the strat work, and it worked at B. So before we get into that, let me explain something from the article. As I stated before, so in the article I state there's a mistake zone, and as the match continues, it changes, and it changes based off changing variables and trying to get your opponents to do something based off them observing you doing something that you normally do but now you're not doing. So early in the match like this, and having a successful round at B, the mistake zone is fairly small, and it's just the 3 spots that move around the most. And on Mirage, it's going to be Cat, Connector, and the middle player. So right here, the setup is very close to the first round, but really the goal here is to find one player out of position or put players out of position. So you'll see how the round goes, and we kind of discuss it. I would just hit shift, but it doesn't work. So they just throw the 2 smokes at B, and someone makes the confidence call because Sick is instantly out of position. Shazam goes for 1, he's taken out, and these 2 are dedicated to B. And now Twist gets 2v1. Sean gets caught off guard, rotating to kitchen. That's as perfect as a round that you can get. You use something that you used on your first gun round, what they know about you, what has worked against them. You kind of get a doubling factor, because Sean's playing Cat and he's the in-game leader. So either Relics or Sean made a confidence call, and that caused 2 players to get out of well, we'll just say 1. We won't consider Shazam out of position. He kind of just took an aim duel on his own, and he died. But it instantly pulled Sick out of Connector, and Phelps instantly punished him. So that's 1. So 2, it's Sean. He's instantly out of position because he instantly rotates to B site. So he completely gives up Cat and Connector control. And since Sick is dead, now Phelps can use his smoke to block off Cat and get the guys out from underpass into A. And Twist is alone at A, and he takes a 2v1 and loses. That whole round is based off what you showed your opponents in your first round. You don't even have to know anything. You don't have to know a single thing about how your opponents are playing, because no call is with 100% certainty. You're just trying to give your best shot at winning a round by putting players out of position and pulling them out of position and punishing them for it, whether it be physically killing them or opening up areas of the map for you to take advantage of by getting them off their spots by over rotating. So to me, that's a perfect round in my eyes. You can't really get much better than that. A force buy and you survive at 5 left. I'm pretty sure they survive at 5 left.
Terrorists win.
So 5 left alive. You can't really get much perfect than that. Now, obviously this is an example, and I don't want to go into too much discussion, but that's basically it. You don't need to know anything about your opponents in order to pull that off and to have that step-by-step process of calling based off your first round and going from there. You just build upon it. Now, since this round's worked, it gives Fallen a lot more opportunity, a lot more options onto what he can call when he needs to win a round. Because clearly, what he called on the third round that closely resembles the first round worked. So now it provides a lot of other options on how you can even still run the same exact thing if he just changes a certain variables. And so it's just like an endless process where you can continue making something look similar but different in the end. And you have to do it from the start of your T side and throughout, so it's meaningful. It can't be sporadic in the middle of the match, because the assumption is you weren't paying attention to actually make the correct and accurate call based off all the rounds that have previously happened. So this is essentially, I guess you could term it free calling, in a sense, a form of free calling. But it's really the most important skill to have as an in-game leader. You can't always go into matches and expect to win just based off knowing or thinking you know everything that your opponents do. Like, if you're trying to make it to open, main, or even premier, most of the time you're not going to know anything about your opponents. And it's really just going to be coming down to, outthinking them and outminding them. And really this is the for sure way to do it. So I hope you enjoy the article. I hope you enjoy the video, even though it's just really a brief example. I might do another demo of the article. Maybe tomorrow. I didn't watch this whole demo. I just remember these two rounds from a long time ago. So I think there was the most recent Torqued match in Premiere versus whoever they played AE on Cash. It has a lot of good examples on T side from what it looked like, where it was mainly just steal free calling and not doing a lot of crazy strategy. So I might do that, or I might just watch this whole demo through T side and see if I can show more characteristics of it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it.